Welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a Friday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go to our friends over in Western Australia, and of course, being with one of our favourite WANL teams, that is the West Coast Warriors, and of course, they'll be hoping to, of course, hopefully get back the premiership from last season. Of course, we've got one of the men's players joins right now. Of course, his name's Brady. He joins us right now. Thanks, Ian, for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. It's great to be here on Smash FM.
How's the preseason? I'm assuming that you've gone back to preseason in preparation for the WANL season.
Yeah, we have. We started preseason in November. A lot of running, a lot of work in the heat, but it's definitely paid dividends. We are looking fitter than we ever have been, and that's all teams at the club. So kudos to the team that organized preseason. I personally am the fittest I've ever been. So it's been hard, but it's been a good preseason.
What's the aim? Is it to get back the premiership this year?
Yeah, I think last year we're definitely disappointed that the men's team didn't make the grand final for the first time in 4 seasons. So that was a huge upsetting moment for us as a team. But as a collective, I felt like as a club, we weren't as successful as we were in the past. Our Opens team did make the grand final, but lost. So a lot of workings and a lot of learnings during the off season post those losses. So for us, we're a very proudful club and we want to be back on the winning list. So for us, we definitely are looking and aiming to get all 3 titles this year.
I know that Western Australia have a fantastic competition because you've actually, you have 23s, Opens, and obviously the men's, which no other state in Australia can boast. What makes it so important to have both men's and women's competition in this professional state league competition?
Yeah, so our WANL team, yeah, it's like you said, combined with our 20 and under division, our Opens and men's. For us, it's really important to be affiliated and connected alongside a Netball WA and supported by our governing body. I think they've shown so much respect for the men's game and really appreciate what we bring to the sport. For us, it's special because we learn both from the women in the game and their structure and their strategy, and the women get a lot from having us alongside them and learning that athleticism and physicality of the game. So we draw a lot from each other and bring the best out of each other. And the game is so special to have, I guess, both sides shown on such a platform.
How the preseason been like? And has it been any different to the past seasons?
Yeah, this preseason has definitely felt a lot different as our club has gone through a lot of changes since last year. So it's a brand new squad in all 3 teams. So for us, a lot of the work and this preseason has been not only to get further, but build new combinations. So that's been an exciting and also a bit of a challenging time because everyone's new. So you're playing with players who've never played before. So getting that touch and feel and understanding of different players is always interesting and exciting. But yeah, definitely hard work.
Tell us a bit about your coaches.
Yeah, so we have also, along with new players, new coaches as well this season. So we have our co-coaches, which is Hannah Irving and Jason Hurd. And one of our co-coaches are also a player as well. So that's an interesting dynamic as well that will be featured this season. But really excited to bring new, fresh perspectives into the training fold. And I've definitely seen it already in preseason, just new strategies that we've worked on, which is really exciting. So definitely excited to have new coaches this season.
Mentioned new players. So how many have, the men's team have retained from last season?
Definitely 5, but as a squad, we're like 12. So that's 7 players that are new. So it's still a large proportion that I guess are different in the squad. And I guess it's on the 5 core players that have remained to show the experience and lead the new ones into the season.
How have the 7 new players fit into the team, including your training partners?
Yeah, they've gone really well. I think Warriors is a great club in being so inclusive and very family orientated. So a lot of the work is done in team season camps. and our season launch, just to welcome the newbies into the club. And we've done our own internal team bonding moments where we've really brought the team together beyond netball. And then when we're at trainings and doing on-court stuff, we really try and involve the new ones and make sure that they're learning in a safe environment as well. Even though it's high intensity, we want to make sure that they're comfortable in learning and growing in the game.
Your netball journey, where did it all start and why did you choose it?
So it's my journey's been very interesting. It's gone all over the place, really. So started when I was a little kid in pre-primary, just playing around with a netball ball back in South Africa. Then had a moment where I played a lot of individual sports in swimming and tennis, and then got back into it in high school. But obviously the pathway stops for boys playing when we reach over 12. So I had then a bit of a break with netball and then didn't see an opportunity to pick it back up until I got into university. So there was a big gap there, but always loved the sport, always loved being a fan and watching the sport. Just never really got an opportunity to play until I hit university. Then started in the social comps and then heard about West Coast Thunder, which is our state program here, and got involved with them and then trialed for rep teams. And then through there, made it into WANL tryouts in 2018. And then had my first season in WANL in 2018 for Whitbelt Flames. And that was an interesting season. It was very hard. I was much bigger and much unfitter than I am now, but it was such a baptism of fire that fueled me to get fitter. And I really wanted to take the sport and myself serious in the sport. So I did a lot of training and came back fitter the following year. In 2019, played with Curtin Hammersley Comets, inaugural team that, started in 2019. And then had 2 seasons with them. We didn't make finals in both those seasons. I got to be vice captain in one of those seasons as well. So I learned a lot of leadership skills through that as well. And then in 2021, moved over to Warriors, where I got a championship. And that was, a really good season. I got to stick in defense. I'm a goal defense, wing defense. So that was a really good season. Picked up a few awards there, which was really great to end off the season. And then last year was a bit rough. I injured myself. I had an acute fracture in my right ankle and had to do surgery. So I was out for, say, 6 months, half of the year, and then slowly picked up towards the back end of the season. So really had an unsteady season last year. So that's why this season coming up means so much to me to get back into it.
You mentioned that, you first went into netball, especially at the WANL side of things, around 2018. Obviously being your 5th season playing WANL. Have you seen a huge difference in regarding to the men's competition in the WANL from 2018 when you first started to now?
I have. I mean, despite the fact that there's only the same teams that remain and the comp itself hasn't grown, I think the players within the teams have grown a lot, and the pool of players that we now have for each club is quite huge. So it's become more competitive, I would say, over the 5 seasons, and wins and losses that happen in the first season were quite large, whereas to now each game is highly contested and quite close, and teams that you would think would win are now not winning and are challenged and pushed, which is what you really want to see over the 5 seasons. So I definitely say there's been a huge growth in players and the comp.
About that premiership in 2021, which I think the club pretty much almost did a clean sweep, or did a clean sweep that year. Tell us a bit about that amazing 2021 season.
Yeah, almost did the clean sweep. Didn't quite make it. Our 20 and unders didn't get a title, but that 2021 season was quite special. We had really strong players in our opens and our men's team. It was quite amazing to see the wins that we were able to produce week in, week out. And it was, quite a solid season for both teams in terms of our win to loss ratio. Yeah, some quality netball was displayed that year, and it's something we definitely want to go back to.
What does the sport of netball mean to you now, especially being part of the West Coast Warriors?
Oh, it means a lot to me. I think I credit netball a lot to the new friends I've made. I guess my new sense of like loving fitness as well and my fitness journey. And not just that, I just love the sport in every essence. And I love umpiring. I love coaching. I love giving back. I think netball is just more than a sport. It just creates such opportunities and gateways in all aspects of life. So definitely I'm a huge fan of the sport.
So you mentioned about obviously you're playing. You mentioned about umpiring and coaching just a moment ago as well in that answer. What's the
Mhm.
one thing or a couple of things that you've learned from playing, coaching, and umpiring?
They're all different. Actually, I learn a lot from coaching and then the playing. It's different hats and different ways of thinking. So some things when I'm coaching, I'm like, oh, and then it clicks back to being a player. I think for coaching, a lot that I've learned is just patience. And I think appreciation when a player that you've coached has that aha moment. I think that's something pretty special and just learning how to explain and get a drill or a skill into a player. Yeah, I've learned a lot on how to get that across to players. So that's something that's been a huge takeaway. Umpiring is quite interesting. You learn a lot, obviously, of the rules and stuff, but I guess it challenges you to when you go back to a player, I guess, how you respond to umpiring calls. I think that's a huge one. Sometimes umpires don't make necessarily the best players on court because they know the rules. So sometimes you like to test the boundaries. Yeah, I'd say learning to be patient with the calls on court.
What is your future ambitions in netball now?
Oh, I think for me personally, to be crack the opens team for the state team for WA. And then long term would obviously love to represent Australia and wear those colours. Yeah, those are the huge goal items for me. And then obviously short term or thinking domestically, would love to win another WANL title.
Do you have like a maybe a top five players? I know you don't want to single anyone out, especially on this current team, but
Oh no.
is there top five players that you play alongside with in your netball journey that stands out to you?
Yeah, look, I've had, like I said before, I had a lot of opportunities given through the sport. I've got to train alongside Fever a couple of times, so always such a huge honor to have those opportunities to play with those amazing athletes. Um, yeah, alongside and in my team, I definitely have a few that I'd like to say. Raven Lee Tarua, who's Australian player as well. I'm a huge fan of his, and he's been a huge supporter of me as well in developing my game. So he's definitely one. Jerome Gilbard would definitely be another one. Who also plays in my Warriors team as a shooter. Matt Brown, Scotty Austin, some of the legends of the men's game. I won't mention their age, but they're definitely pioneers of the sport in men's netball. So, yeah, definitely those guys are huge influences and inspiration for me that I've played alongside and I've been lucky enough to play alongside them. Yeah.
Is there a particular team you want to beat the most this season? I think I've got a feeling I
Um,
know who that is.
Yeah, I was going to say the rivalry between West Coast Warriors and Western Raw is very strong. So there's no team that we would love to beat more than Raw.
And why do you think it's a bit of a more rival between yourselves and the Raw um, compared to the others?
I think it's just that tenacity and hunger that we bring out of each other on court. There's great matchups in the teams, and yeah, both teams really. Not saying other teams don't, but when we're out on court, it's quite fierce and definitely want the win. So yeah, there's that extra rivalries in the matchups and the willingness to want a win. So makes it exciting.
What would be your advice to male players out there who are thinking about playing netball?
I think the huge thing is connect with your associations. I don't think that there's never an opportunity. There's always a gateway, especially through West Coast Thunder. We do a lot of work with associations across WA, and Netball WA helps us with that. So speak to your local club and connect with your association, and they will connect with West Coast Thunder. And that's where we come in to bridge the gap and bring those boys into the fold and tell them that there is a pathway, and provide those opportunities for them. And the
So
sport is growing. The sport is growing phenomenally.
Finish up with a couple light-hearted questions about the team this year. I know you haven't played yet, so the first one is any embarrassing moments during the preseason by anyone, and what was it?
Amber Jamison. Oh, she's gonna kill me for this. She 20 and under. She rocked up to preseason training. We had running with really bad running fake tan. And it was horrendous. And we just like literally not jokingly made fun of her and filmed her because she was just, it was a mess. So bad. So bad. Oh. Yeah, that's the one that she's got a fine for because, oh my goodness. What a time.
And now I'm really hoping I've got on the show sometime throughout the year to answer that. So I won't mention who just mentioned that though. But who's the comedian, the best singer, and into their TikTok/Be Real?
I'd definitely say there's a few of us that love TikTok, and all of us are pretty much on Be Real. It's post trainings, everyone's taking their Be Real shots. Oh, but fun fact, one of our coaches has Be Real, and it's the best thing ever. Honestly, her Be Reals are the best ever. Her captions, everything's the best ever. So that's really cool. I'm trying to think who's the pioneer and really good with TikToks. It's not really one. Everyone's pretty good. Comedian. I'd like to think I'm the comedian and crack jokes. But nah, everyone has their own good banter, which is kind of really cool. Good singers. Gosh, netballers do not make good singers. I can tell you that much.
Yes,
Tone deaf is
that,
definitely. Yep. I can't actually really think of any singers. And I don't think I want to.
Mentioned before about the fine system, which I'm assuming that you have, that you just mentioned about that fake tan one. Who's copped the most fines so far in the preseason?
For our men's team, I've copped 2, so that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I think Jonah, another defender, has copped the most. I think he has 9 or 10. Yeah, he's pretty clueless, that one.
He's gonna love this.
So he's definitely fun to have in the team because I just know that I won't end up as much as him. So it makes me feel better. Thankful for him. Don't think so, but as I mentioned, Amber has racked up a few. Just literally picking on the people that I know from also last season, just copped so much and nothing's gonna change. I reckon the captain of the Opens team, Hannah Stokes, I reckon she's gonna cop a few or has already copped a few fines. She is so goofy, that one. So those are my bets. I reckon Hannah Stokes has copped the most and Jonah has copped the most.
Okay. So we might come back to that one when we have a couple more players on the show. See if that comes true at the end of the season. Do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual once the season gets underway?
No, I'm quite boring in the fact that I don't really do the whole superstition and game day rituals, really. I do like to listen to music before a game. I'd say that's about it. I like to be like not alone, but doing my own thing before a game. That's pretty much it, really, but nothing that I have to do or it will throw me off. It's funny because I spoke about like, my housemate who also plays netball in a different team. We were talking about it and we're like, both of us do not have one, and a lot of people do, and it's quite strange. But I don't know. I feel like a pre-game having that fix just sets you up to sometimes not have a good game, because what if something goes wrong, and then does that completely throw it off? I just find it very interesting, the psychology behind it. But yeah, I don't personally have one.
Any good nicknames in the team we should know about?
Oh yeah, there's definitely one. um yeah, there's definitely one. Do I say it? Do I say it? Yeah, sure. So one of our players, as I mentioned, Scott Austin, pioneer, and we call him Daddy
Yeah.
because he is the fatherly figure in the team.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
yeah, Scott Austin is our leader in that space. Yeah, it's definitely our leader, our father figure, put it that way.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
And I'm trying to think on the women's team in the opens one. A lot of nicknames are just surrounded by like convenience of names. So like
Mm.
Steph Cooper is called Coops. Um, yeah, a lot of it is just like shortening names, because some of the time sometimes the names are really long,
Okay.
especially when you yell at people on court, you want to shorten their names.
Mm.
Yeah, but no real ones that are really sticking out to me at the moment. No.
Ian, thank you so much for getting up some of your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show. I want to wish your team all the best, and not just your men's team, but obviously the 20s and the opens for the Warriors. Let's hope it starts really well, and hopefully later on this year that hopefully be speaking about a clean sweep and
Yes.
getting past your rival Roars on the way to the premiership this year in the WANL.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great to talk about all things netball and Warriors, and hopefully we'll be back on soon to talk about a clean sweep.
And that is Ian Brady. They join us from the West Coast Warriors on the men's side of things. Of course, if you want to support the Warriors in the one, of course, their season starts very soon. So I will put all the details up on their schedule coming up, of course, in the first month of the season. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.